straight to the hell we made. Why always a wall, babe, when we wanna come closer? Don't tell a million lies, kill the butterflies. I just wanna make things right. Walk, keep us on the road, try to find.
Hey. It's Thought-Provoking Thursday, y'all. It is Thought-Provoking Thursday. And tonight the topic is your relationship toxic? I want to talk about this tonight. I definitely want to talk about this tonight. Say hey. I told y'all, you can't come up in people's house and don't say hello. Say hello. Say hello. It's Kim Love Jones here, certified relationship coach. And I have so much to share with y'all tonight. It's not even funny. I have like the top 10 things that will help you know whether or not your relationship is toxic. And if you're in a toxic relationship, and I want to talk about that. Okay, somebody's not saying hello. I can see that. It's okay. It's all good. It's all good. I'm just going to give it just a few minutes, a few more seconds to see if more people jump on. I changed the time to 7 p.m. because at 8 p.m. on a Thursday, that's prime time. And I said, I don't want to do that. In the meantime, I want to talk about an upcoming workshop that I'm going to be having around true love, attracting, your happily ever after. And I cannot wait for that to go down. That's going to be going down on April the 10th, from April the 10th to the 14th. At 7 p.m. We are going to be rocking out for a week, 5 days, relationship challenge. Hey, Reva, I see you, baby. How are you? How are you, sweetheart? Yeah, so I want to talk about this. Is your relationship toxic business? Because the truth is, a lot of times we don't really know. We think that it's normal and customary to go through some of the things that we go through. Because everybody struggles, nobody's perfect, and we're gonna say that right out the gate. We kind of already know that part, right? So just for tonight, right, we already know that part, but there's a lot of people that do not know the signs of when things are really extremely toxic in their relationships. And if you guys want, you can share this video out. Matter of fact, share it out for me. Share it out, because this is going to be hot. This is going to be a really, really good video with some really, really good stuff in it, Yeah. Hey, Brenda, I see you, sweetheart. How are you? How are you, sweetie? I'm glad you're here. I'm so excited. Okay, so why now did my grandkids call me about 15 minutes before I was to go live, and they just had to talk to their Gigi. Okay, so that's why I was like, I said, listen, I'm about to go live. I hate to cut my grandkids off. Y'all know how that is. I want them to talk to their Gigi as much as possible. But I want to talk about this. I want to talk about how to know if you're in a toxic relationship, right? And, a lot of times, as I said previously, a lot of times people really do not know that they're in a toxic relationship. They think that things are normal and customary. This is what every relationship goes through. And some of the things I'm going to talk about, I'm also going to counter it with what you should be looking for in your relationship, because everything is not necessarily toxic. Sometimes it's the way that we view it, right? So I want to counter it as well. I don't have a special guest on tonight, so y'all got me all to yourself. So I'm gonna be posting comments. It's going down. Y'all share this video out. Y'all share it out. The very first thing is, can you trust your partner? Is there a lack of trust? When you talk to your partner, or your partner goes out, right? And this is not just for men. I mean, I'm not talking about men. This is both for men and women tonight, right? Can you trust that they're going where they said they were going to go? And if you're struggling with that, not that one individual thing, but all of these things here as a combination. In fact, if you could pick 3 or 4 things off this list that I'm about to give you of the top 10 things to look for to know if you're in a toxic relationship, and you can get 4 or 5 of them out of this, you probably are in a toxic relationship. Real talk. You probably are. And it's unfortunate, right? But we're going to talk about getting out of it. We're going to talk about getting out of it, and we're going to talk about working through it, right? If there is a lack of trust in your relationship, y'all, why do I always gotta clean my glasses? If there's a lack of trust in your relationship, there is something that you should be trying to talk to your partner about. If you can't trust them, as far as you can see them, then there is a problem. That's a problem. If every time they walk out the door and say, I'll be right back, you know that they're not coming right back, and you might not see them for like 3 or 4 hours and you don't know where they are, you can't trust what they say to you. Um, they can just be habitual liars, right? Then you need to do some further investigation in that because you're probably in a toxic relationship, right? Because every relationship, you should be able to talk to your partner. You should be able to say to your partner, listen, like no matter what, even if it hurts, they should be speaking the truth to you. And not truth to you to hurt your feelings, but truth to you in a kind and loving way, right? Because, they may have some issues and things that they're dealing with, and you probably need to check that, right? To see if there is a problem. Now, building trust, on the other hand, takes time. A lot of people have been through a lot of things. There's a lot of people that have been hurt by other people. And sometimes some of the things you do might trigger something in them. There needs to be some communication around that. If your partner is unwilling to communicate with you about how they feel, what's going on inside, what they're thinking about, what they've been through, how can you trust that? How can you trust anything, right? How can you trust anything? So, real talk, if you are in a relationship and you cannot confide or talk to your partner or they do not communicate with you well, I see y'all say hi, say hello. Um, and you can't communicate with them and you can't uh uh and you can't trust that they're going to the store and they're coming right back, there's a problem. So that's the first one. The second one is compromising your values. In the confines of your relationship, if your partner is asking you to do things that do not align with who you are, they do not uh they do things that make you dishonor yourself, or you are dishonoring yourself because you're in that relationship with them, because they don't align, right? Because they're not going, excuse me y'all, with gum in my mouth, because they're not going in the direction that you're going in, right? You should check that. Why are you compromising who you are, your values, and your morals to be in a relationship with somebody? Because I can tell you honestly, like if I met somebody and they were a swinger, that wouldn't align for me. And there are some people that everybody is good on that. That's what they want to do. They want to go to these swinging clubs. That's what they want to do. But I would not do that because that's not who I am. That's not what I want. Right. So I'm very clear about not compromising my values and honoring who I am or dishonoring who I am to be with someone. If you're doing that, then you're probably in a relationship that is not well suited for you and it's probably toxic. Does your partner support you? This is number three. Does your partner support you? Do they cheer for you? Right? Do they honor what you need to do? Are they supportive of the fact that you just worked a 12-hour shift and tonight you cannot cook dinner because you could barely, lift your feet up off the floor to walk in the house, right? No matter what it is, it's for men and for women. Do they support what you do? Do they support who you are, right? And that's something that you really have to think about because everybody wants to be supported and encouraged and loved by somebody that you're sleeping in the bed with, right? Does your husband, does your wife, right, support you and your ideas? That's important, right? And when we're talking about marriage, that's a whole nother thing. I'm talking about single people who are dating and involved in relationships with someone, right? Because marriage has a whole nother system set up for it, right? But seriously, is your partner supporting you? And if they're not supporting you, you're probably in a toxic relationship, right? Because everybody wants to be supported, loved, and encouraged. Do they dismiss how you feel? Does your partner dismiss how you feel? is every time you open up your mouth, it's like, yeah, yeah, whatever, right? From both the man or the woman, right? Do they care about what's bothering you? Do they care at all? Period. That's the question. Because if they don't, chances are you are in a toxic relationship. I don't know why my Facebook is going nuts. Hi, Nishia. How are you, baby? I see you. I see you, sis. Right? You need somebody who cares about how you feel. You need somebody who cares about what's going on in your life. You know? Aw, I'm blessed, baby. Hey, Shantan, I see you, baby. And if you don't have somebody who cares about how you feel, once again, you're probably in a toxic relationship. These are just some of the things that you should think about because honestly, this is Thought Provoking Thursday. These are the things that make you go, wow, like, do I really, truly want to be in this relationship? I could tell you a short story. I used to, when I was married, I used to work, and because y'all know, I don't know how many of you know, I live in New York, right? And I used to be driving from Queens and I was on my way home. And while I pushed back all of my feelings and my emotions while I was at work, right? And I was trying to do the best I can and be the brightest light that I knew how to be, right? Hi, and talking to everybody and smiling, laughing, and joking. When I was hit the parkway to come home, my stomach would literally be in knots. It was like, and the closer I got to home, the more sick I would feel to my stomach. I didn't look for anywhere else to go, right? I need to be clear about this. I didn't look for anywhere else to go, but just coming home was a problem for me, right? Um, when you're in a situation like that, that's something that you should think about and consider. You're probably in a toxic relationship if you do not want to come home. And I'm just being honest, right? And no shade to anybody, um, you know, or any situation, but that's a real thing. I didn't want to come home. I didn't want to come home. And the closer I got to home, the sicker I felt. That's how much it was just a bunch of confusion and chaos in my life at that particular juncture. And whether we created it together or individually, it didn't matter. Anytime you struggle with whether or not or you feel sick to your stomach coming home, that is a problem. And you're probably in a toxic relationship, right? The other thing is if your partner is unreliable, can you count on them? Can you count on them to come through and have your back through each situation or circumstance? Right? And uh, do you feel like they have your back? Because some people will be in your company, be in your life. You'll be cooking dinner for them every night. You'll be doing a whole bunch of things, taking care of the kids or whatever it is that you're doing. And you still don't feel like you can rely upon them. They're not reliable. If you ask them to take the car to go get an oil change, right? Hey, I see you, Andrea. How are you? Um, then you're probably in a toxic relationship. And so what you want to do is you want to be the opposite of that is that you want to be with somebody who is encouraging and who is reliable. You want to have a reliable person in your life, right? Somebody that you can depend on that's going to have your back, ride or die with you, right? So that's important. I want to show this comment. It says, my guy friend always asks me what's on my mind when he sees me looking off. Yeah. Yeah, because he's concerned about where you are. And she says, I sure do. I'm ready to start dating. It's been years. Yeah, how about that? Let's do that. Let's do some more of that. Nashia, let's do some more of that, baby. Let's get that, okay? Um, a lack of affection, a lack of affection. They don't hug you. They don't kiss you. They don't let you know that you're special. And I'm talking about for men and women. I think a lot of times we get so comfortable. People get comfortable in relationships, and they begin to take each other for granted, and they no longer say, like, I think you're beautiful, or I think you're handsome. Well, that's my baby. Look at my baby. Or, from the male and the female, right? Or tell a person how amazing and wonderful you think that they are. Facebook user, I cannot see your name. All I see is Facebook users saying, hey there. Give StreamYard permission to see your name, right? So having somebody that, you can have some affection with is really important. And if you're not, some people are not touchy-feely. I'm a very touchy-feely person. I love hugs. I love kisses, right? I love it all. I love it all. I like to give it and I like to get it, right? And if you feel apprehensive about doing that, then something's probably wrong. That doesn't mean that the relationship is toxic. It just means it sometimes some of this means that you need to have a conversation around what it is that you really want. Because I can go back to each one of these from the beginning, and in each one, the lack of trust, compromising your values, not being supportive, dismissive of your feelings, being unreliable, feeling like when you go home it's a whole bunch of confusion, so you don't even want to come home, right? All of these things can be handled with a few conversations. All of these things can be handled if you sit down and confront them the way that they should be confronted in love, especially if you are in love with your partner and you believe that your partner loves you but does not know how to operate the way that you need him to or her to operate, right? So that's important because sometimes it's not like, okay, just throw everything out. Sometimes it is about taking your time, right, to sit down and have a conversation and bring it all to the table and say, baby, there's a lot of things I'm not liking, whatever it is, right, male or female. And we're going to change this because I want us to win. So in order to have a winning relationship, you've got to do the work. So the hard conversations have got to be had. Y'all ever talk to, and this is for my sisters real quick, y'all ever talk to a brother and you say, we got to talk? And the first thing they do is go to a panic and they be like, oh, what did I do? You're like, you didn't do anything. I just want to talk, right? And men have been so conditioned that when a woman says that, they're immediately ready to run back out the door. Like, I don't want to talk about that because I don't know what you're about to say. That kind of thing. I do not know why I am getting all of these notifications. I gotta mute notification settings. Let me mute because this is driving me crazy. Okay. Notifications. Wait. How about we mute them? How do you mute them, y'all? Oh, because this is too much. I can't deal with this right now. But anyway, men are not too good at when a woman says, I want to talk, right? Sometimes you just got to let the conversation flow. But a lot of the things that we need to discuss are rooted in sometimes hard conversations. And a lot of men don't want to have hard conversations. They're afraid of them. So don't ever say, babe, I want to talk. Just talk. Because when you say, babe, I want to talk, it drives them crazy. And sometimes usually it's not even about them. You just want to share something with them. It's hilariously funny to me. I mean, I don't do it on purpose, but I think, oh, hi, Sister Martha. I see you. I love you. But a lot of times it sends men just soaring when they feel like, you say, oh, I want to sit down and talk to you. You're like, oh my God, they panic, right? If you can't confide in your partner, if you can't confide in them, if you can't speak your truth to them, that's a problem. That's a problem. You need to sit down and have a conversation about where you stand in that. Because everybody needs a safe space, whether you're male or female. You want a place where you can truly have a really good conversation and say what's on your heart. There may be something bothering you that has to do with work. And hey, Dre, I see you, baby. I see you. Um, yeah, there may you might have had a really, really hard day at work, and you may need to confide in your partner about something that's going on at work, right? Everybody needs a safe space. And so a lot of times what happens is that we don't create the safe spaces. And we can't figure out why our partners won't talk to us. So truth, if you can't talk to your partner, if you can't confide in them, your relationship may have some toxic traits. And you may need to talk about that. You may need to dig deeper into that. What is going on with you? If okay, and when your relationship gives you anxiety, which I talked a little bit about earlier, then you should revisit why you're having anxiety around your relationship. Maybe our expectations are too high. Maybe we have unrealistic expectations. Um, but your relationship shouldn't give you anxiety. And if you have anxiety around your relationship, yeah, you need to think about that. Think about what that means to you. Why are you having anxiety? Are you stressed about something? Is the relationship itself stressing you? Or is it something else going on in you that is stressing you? Right? And the other one, the last and final one, and then I'm just gonna open up the floor and we could just kick it. But the last and final one is you can't really even imagine being with them anymore. There's a reason for that. When you are having ideations of leaving your partner, when you're having ideations of whether or not you want to date them anymore, you probably are done at that particular point. And there's no reason for, calling back. There's no reason to continue to have any long drawn out conversations. Sometimes it's just over and you know it's over. And then let me just throw this bonus in here. Earlier I was talking to one of my homeboys and he said to me, Kim, some people stay in relationships just to say that they have somebody. And it's toxic from front to back, from the beginning to the end. And then the other part is people who are argumentative. If you're a peaceful, quiet person and you meet or run into somebody and you begin to date them and you see that they're argumentative, they're always trying to debate an issue, stuff that doesn't even need to be debated, they're probably not the one for you. And I'm just being honest. There are some times that you have to sit back and you have to process why it is that you are where you are in relationships. Why is it that you keep meeting the same type of person? Why haven't you met the one that is specifically for you? What is it about you that keeps attracting to yourself the same type of person, a person that is unavailable? You ever meet a person? I cut my finger earlier today, y'all, cutting a lemon. Now I gotta have on a band-aid, but okay. Listen, you ever meet a person and every time you talk to them, they're busy. You like them and you like them a lot, male or female, it doesn't matter. You like them a lot, but they're not giving you any airtime, any real time to be in their lives, be in their circumference. They got you kind of dangling like a participle. They have you dangling on a string. And it's only at their convenience that you are bought in, that they want to go out with you, that you're not a priority. They see you when they feel like they want to see you. They treat you okay at best, right? That's something to think about, whether or not you want to continue to be engaged with someone like that. Now, just as I said before, most of this stuff can be dealt with within the confines of a few conversations. doing some of the work that would lend itself to you having incredible and amazing relationships, right? The issue is not necessarily that all the time. Sometimes the person is just toxic. Sometimes the person doesn't know how to talk to you. Sometimes the person doesn't know how to love you because they don't love themselves. Sometimes you'll go to have a conversation. They weren't raised like you, and a conversation can turn into an argument. And your house has always been peaceful and quiet and loving and kind, but they are used to and accustomed to arguing all the time. And in the arguing, they're not considering what you're saying. They're just saying stuff to have you respond. Right? So there are some things, and this is real talk, there are some things that you need to be aware of so that as you progress forward in your life, because again, we're not getting any younger, right? We're getting older and we're trying to live out our, lives peacefully in harmony with joy, building something, whatever that is for you in your life. And so it is vitally important that if you really care about somebody, if you want your relationship to work, then you have to look and make sure that you work through these things. There's a reason why you don't trust somebody. Have they given you any reason to trust them? Right? Or to distrust them, right? So you got to think about that from both ways, in both ways. Then compromising your values. Every time you turn around, are you compromising who you are just so you could be with somebody? If somebody hit me today in my email, they asked me if I knew any couples that have overcome, like one person left their religion to go be with somebody else who was in a different religion. And off the top, I do not know anybody who has done that, right? Off the top. But if you're a firm believer, and I don't practice religion, I practice relationship, but there are some people who, I know a friend of mine's, she was Jewish and he was a Jehovah's Witness. They got married and they were married for a long time. They're no longer married, right? But in certain cultures, that's important, right? I don't know that I can marry anybody from the Islamic faith. In fact, I'm almost sure of it. Unless they Muslims for Jesus or something. You know what I'm saying? Like Jews for Jesus. I don't know. I don't know what to tell you, because I can't compromise all of who I am and what I believe, right? This is who I am at my core, right? Right, wrong, or indifferent. I'm not going to compromise my values and what I believe in order to appease somebody else. I'm going to stand firm on what I believe. And there's some people who don't believe in God, period. That's on them. Have at it. But I know who I am. And I don't even want to be around I wouldn't marry somebody that was agnostic. Right? So it's about understanding who you are and understanding that other people are different and it's okay for them to be different. It's okay for them to be who they are. Right? But are you in a toxic relationship? Are they trying to convert you? Are they trying to make you be what they want you to be? Are you happy in your own skin? Are you being forced to be what somebody else has told you to be? Right? And I'm not even talking about religion anymore. I'm just talking period in general. Right? They're like, oh, well, I want you to wear your dresses down to your ankle, but that's not how you want to wear a dress. Right? And that may be a small thing. But it is very serious when people begin to tell you, well, no, I don't want you to do this and I don't want you to do that. Right? I mean, could you be with a vegan? Could you be with a vegan? I mean, it's a real question, right? If you're a carnivore, right? Right? Could you do it? And so there's a lot of things, right, that people may ask you to give up in order to be with them, right? And from the gate, if you know that, some people don't like people who smoke cigarettes. And they will not go out with somebody who smokes cigarettes. And now we got weed, so that's a whole nother thing. Like if somebody smokes weed, people will not go out with you if you smoke weed, right? And they're not compromising themselves. And the other person saying, no, but this is what I want to do. Like, do you have to compromise everything that you stand for in order to be with the person? Right? Yeah. Is there always confusion around them? Do they give you the affection that you need? Can you confide in them? Do they give you anxiety? You have anxiety around the relationship. I am doing a workshop, I'm saying it again, 5-day challenge on true love, attracting your happily ever after, from April the 10th to April the 14th. It's 5 days, and we're going to be meeting from 7 p.m. every night. It's going to go down. I have so much stuff I want to give you guys. It's going to be absolutely amazing and dope. I'm telling you right now. It's a 5-day challenge, and I'm excited about it. I'm very excited about it. Nobody's really giving me any feedback like y'all normally do. Y'all usually giving me like crazy feedback and type it in the chat and carry it on. But I really wanted to talk to you all about that tonight, because I think that a lot of people are in toxic relationships and they don't even know that they're in toxic relationships. There's a lot of people who are just in there, just hanging on by a thread, right? And don't even realize that. There's a lot of people who don't have what they need in relationships, and they stay just for the sake of saying that they have a relationship. And that's not reason enough to stay, right? I think if you want it, if you're going to stay, then you need to work through the things. Like, why don't you trust them, or compromising your values, or how they don't support you? You need to talk about that. Or are you not supporting them because you think that what they are doing is cockamamie or crazy? How would that make you feel if your partner saw you, if you were not being the supportive partner, right? Girlfriend, boyfriend, right? You don't even have to live together. You could be supportive and not live with one another, right? So, it's important. It's very, very important to do some introspection, to see where you are in your relationship, even to write these things down as I have given them to you. You know why? Because if you want to be in something healthy, you got to know what to look for. And sometimes people are controlling and manipulative, and they don't love you for real, for real. They just want to control you and manipulate you and tell you who and how to be. And so those are some of the things that you have to pay attention to. Is that toxic? Like, am I seeing, like, did I hear that right? Like, did they just say something nasty to me for no reason at all? Did they just try to emasculate me? Did they just, wait, did they just say something negative about my family? They say, did they tell me you don't have no friends? Wait, what is that about? Do you feel like they're trying to separate you from the people that you love? Do they talk down to you? Like, there's so many pieces to toxic relationships, to the toxicity. And you have to pay attention to make sure that you are not in a toxic relationship. And that's real talk. I might do a part 2 to this. I really, really love this. And I might offer up the opposite, a little bit deeper. You guys have been absolutely amazing. Listen, I love y'all, and I hope and I look forward to seeing y'all again. I'm going to go live again really, really soon. Y'all be blessed and have an awesome and amazing evening. Talk to y'all later. Bye.
I